Hello everyone, I'm Rafi, team manager of Team Prometheus, and we're here today with Quark from Team Alpha Collective, an aspiring esports team that managed to capture quite the attention in these past 2 months. Hello Quark, how are you doing? Welcome to our first vlog.
Hello, Rafi. I'm doing most excellent, and thank you for inviting me today.
Thank you very much for being here. I believe you had more than a week to sit down with your team and speak about the facts of this beta weekend event and analyze everything that happened in general. How would you judge this second beta event and the attempt to implement more content into this game, which is still in its beta phase?
I was actually incredibly surprised at how much extra content they put in for this weekend. It was just a month of work that they had, but they did things like spruce up how the mist look and work. They added the tournament system, and they fixed a lot of the bugs and technical problems that we were all having. Like we couldn't even join our friends in PvP, but now can do that. So they really just did a whole lot. Oh, they also added the new glory looting system with the chest. A lot of people don't like the randomly generated loot, but I personally love it. So,
Could you actually join the structured PvP in a party, staying in the same team with those 8 or 5 party members?
no, you still couldn't do that, sadly. What we were forced to do is either note down which lobby we went into, and everyone just kind of joined in that lobby, or sometimes you could like right-click your friends and join off of that, like it's say join friend in PvP. So there's still a lot of work to be done, but at least we can play with each other. And
Yeah.
it seemed like they wouldn't switch the teams too often. Like you could actually reliably get on a team with your friend and then stay there instead of like auto balance or something and moving it for you.
Yeah, I mean, I got to play with you, I think, with the join a friend option, and I can say it was quite nice when the server wasn't full. You could actually enjoy yourself. And yeah, the auto balancing, I can say that this time wasn't really that annoying. On the first time we could see it much more. um I mean, you were playing with your friend on a team and it would actually divide you two up, and that was like a
Hmm.
bit frustrating. So moving on, what was in your opinion the biggest difference of this beta weekend event and the previous one, including the stress test, which wasn't really didn't have any new content, I believe, but it was more of a stress test for the servers, as the name suggests.
To me, by far the biggest change was the new tiered system for your traits because like we had all of our builds ready and set and we knew that some balance changes were going to come and maybe we'd have to change like one or two traits, but other than that it'd be fine. But this pretty much essentially trashed a couple of builds and you really had to make a lot of new builds because instead of just going through the traits and picking all the good traits and none of the bad ones, you were forced to take some worse traits in order to get to the better traits. um, However, this is another new system that they put in, so there are going to obviously be balance problems with it. Two of the most notable ones I found were the Guardian. I think it's like in the defense tree. They get a res bubble, and it's a trait one or a tier one trait that it's amazing. And pretty much, if you ever play Guardian, you're gonna have to pick that if they keep it in tier one. I think it needs to be like tier two or three. And the same thing with the Warriors Endure Pain at 25% life trait.
Yeah,
So,
that was pretty sick actually. Mm,
yeah. However, I do like the new trait system more because it will allow us to get more viable builds instead of just having to pick the best traits and none of the bad ones. Like now, you're gonna want either this tier three trait or this tier three trait, and you're gonna be forced with a decision.
So it's actually of a more consequential system. You have to choose at the beginning, but there is a consequence of what you'll be able to choose in the end.
Yeah.
How about any client server problems? Do you notice anything? Because I mean, I've been playing on an American server, even though I live in Italy, and I am supposed to play on a European one, and I didn't have any lag problems.
Yeah, I definitely experienced a lot less lag in this one. The first beta weekend event had a good amount of it to the point, even some parts where I was just like, I can't play this game anymore because nothing would happen. But this time around, they fixed a whole lot of those problems. Like, there was only a few times that I actually experienced, like, oh, I'm lagging really hard right now.
Hmm. So I think a general issue in this beta weekend event was one of the new things implemented, the tournaments. It was a really nice feature, but it had quite a lot of bugs as well. I know you tried it out. What are your opinions and negative input, positive input?
Uh, the tournament system was really awesome, but it did come with its own set of problems, but any new system is going to do that. The most notable problem is that you would be in the tournament and then all of a sudden you get this unknown roster error, which essentially meant that you would continue playing your match for about a minute or so, and then everyone in the entire tournament would get kicked out to the mist, and then the whole thing would just be over. There'd be no prizes, no winners, no nothing. And that was a little bit frustrating, but you just kind of dealt with it to get to the good like 5v5 tournaments. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're playing and you're at the final point of winning a game, and then last minute you get thrown out of the game and you
Yep.
get
When
no
it's like a
prize.
guaranteed win. Yeah, when it's a guaranteed win that you're gonna like win the whole tournament and then you get an unknown roster, you're like, ah, why?
Yeah, and the big change in this tournament that is that we actually got to PvP in 5v5 instead of
Yeah,
8v8. I mean, 8v8 it's three too many in my opinion. What do you think?
I definitely agree. Once I've actually got a taste of the good 5v5, I think that the AV8 is completely, it should not be there at all. Even in just like the public fun matches, it's just a lot more fun to do 5v5. Uh, the maps are balanced for 5v5, and the entire game, like with all of its particle effects and such, is really geared towards less people. And I know there's World v World, but I think there's also like they turn off like the unimportant particle effects in there, and maybe they could do that for the 8v8s, but it's really a 5v5 kind of PvP environment, and I think that they need to do that because it's a whole lot more fun.
Yeah, I mean, imagine that actually happened to me. You get to play online and you're playing 8v8, and suddenly you find yourself surrounded, but by not two people, but actually three. Two people, maybe you can take it, but three, I think, is impossible. And it's more about killing the other guys than actually playing strategically.
Yeah, that was another problem is that the way the game is tuned, it makes it really hard to do any kind of outmatched fights. It definitely gets easier when it's like a 3v2 or a 3v4, but when it's like 1v2 or 1v3, it's such an uphill battle. And so when you have your 8v8s and you're just walking around alone, you might get bum rushed by like four people, and then you're just like, well, now I'm dead. That's nice.
Yeah. Now, another thought. I know that in the first beta weekend event, if I'm not mistaken, the classes went to actually it was the most powerful one was the Ali, the Elementalist. Second one was the Guardian, and so on and so forth with the Necro and the rest of the classes. The rest of the professions. Sorry. Um, how was it in this beta weekend event? I know that still many items are overpowered and some professions as well.
Yeah, there was definitely. It's not really a balanced game yet because, and that's fine because it is in the beta weekend. Um, as for the tier list, we actually have one. I just need to find it really quick. Uh, I thought a little bit differently, but I talked it over with my team and we came up with a what we thought was the best tier list, and it is Ellie, which is the most overpowered, and then Inji because if you can play a really good Inji right now, they're really super strong. The Ranger because all of its versatility and especially that tank build that still hasn't been nerfed. Hopefully, it'll be nerfed next beta weekend event. And then the rest are like Necro, Guardian, Thief, Warrior, and Mesmer. And the reason that the Mesmer is so low is because once you know their tricks, and especially because you can just single out the Mesmer with a little icon, and so they haven't fixed that yet, the Mesmer is actually really easy to deal with, especially in these like 5v5 situations, because you can single them out pretty easily instead of because there's going to be one or two people fighting instead of five on a point.
Why do you think that the Ellies did not get nerfed to the point where they should be?
Really, I think it's just because they haven't had enough time. I think they're focusing more on content than balance right now. At least that's what it felt like to me. And I'm sure that we'll see the eventually then Ellie's get nerfed along with all the other overpowered stuff. But right now we have to realize that we are in a real beta stage and that they have other things that they need to do before like finish content wise before they actually start to balance everything really well.
Yeah, you can actually smell that it's better. You can sense it. It's pretty obvious, and I think it's one of those betas that it's been implemented in the right way, not just selling the beta licenses. In a way, they did that, but I don't think it had so much impact as such as other betas that sold out the beta keys.
Yeah, a lot of games these days will sell their betas and they're pretty much just like advertisements to the game to get you to like get a taste of it and want to play it. Whereas this is I want to call it a true beta in which that the game is not complete yet. I mean it's nice, but it's not complete and that they're working on it like every day still and that we need to give them their feedback to what we want a great game to be. And I'm really glad that they took that direction. Not only because I get to play Guild Wars 2 earlier, but because I actually have a say in what the final game is going to be and why it's going to be fun.
Yeah. So, how about the team's opinions? I mean, so far we've spoken of what you experienced, but I mean, what was the collective opinion of the team? Because I mean, you sat down and talked. I imagine the day afterwards, because I'm pretty sure you were really tired when the ending event actually ended. So what was the first thing you talked about the next day when I suppose you had a team meetup?
Yeah, right as like the clock struck midnight our time and the servers went down, I was like, all right, team, I know we need a meeting, but I'm going to sleep right now. And so we had it the next morning. Um, and we talked about mainly what we felt was good and bad about like our streaming and our team and kind of how we felt about everything. And because during the beta we were talking about what's good, what's bad about the actual game and what we need to improve on there. Uh, a lot of it was just kind of businessy stuff. Like we talked about who's going to do a write up about stuff. We answered emails, got questions from emails for our frequently asked questions page, and we kind of talked. We talked about the tier list of what we felt was really strong, weak, and we really just after every beta weekend event, at least thus far, we've made a schedule per se of where we're going to go from here, how we're going to prepare for the next beta weekend event, and what we're going to do like for our fans and content and stuff like that.
Okay, so what can we expect from the team? I mean, I am watching the streams constantly. I've been there from day one of the first Guild Wars streaming when it was the day one of the first beta weekend, and I mean, your Twitch page just exploded with views that day. I still remember the whole weekend. It was like it was mental. You actually did pretty good, and I congratulate you on that. But what can we expect next from the team? I know you're going to PAX.
Yes, well, thank you for being one of those first people. That first day and that first weekend were like one of my best weekends of my life. It was so amazing just to have all those people. But as far as what we're planning to do, we are going to PAX, and but other than that, we will have VODs coming up really soon. I think before Friday, I want to say.
Yeah,
Friday, the what day is that? The 20. Oh wait, Friday is yeah, the 22nd. I think we'll have some there of our second beta weekend event. I'm talking with the people at Boons and Conditions,
yes.
and we're gonna do some shoutcasting. At least I and some other people. I can't remember his name, but he does a lot of Guild Wars 2 shoutcasting. We will, I think, be putting some write-ups. I'm not sure about what. Maybe some key binding stuff. I might do a write-up about that actually.
Yeah, kin bindings
Um,
were really complicated in Guild Wars 2 to get them to work in a position where you could actually reach the buttons.
yeah. Um, so we're just gonna put out more content. All of us, hopefully, will continue streaming. I'm actually going to be upping the amount of streaming I do, like by a whole lot, because I'm just going to be playing League of Legends ranked solo queue or duo queue actually for a long while, pretty much until the start of the next beta weekend event, which should be in about a month.
Yeah,
Um,
should be.
yeah.
They promised
After
at least
that,
one.
I mean, we do kind of have a limit to what we can do put out, but at the same time, we're trying to like keep putting out content that people will enjoy and just add to the whole excitement and enjoyment of Guild Wars 2 and other esports related things.
Okay, so right now I'm gonna ask you what was the most frequent question you got asked on the stream this beta weekend event?
It was, what is your build? I got asked this question at least once every 30 minutes, sometimes like three times a minute. Uh, and that's completely fine. I mean, you see in games like League of Legends or StarCraft that people just want to see what the good people are playing and copy their build and kind of play off that instead of really looking at all the traits and stuff and being like, why do I want this? Because it takes a lot of thought to really analyze a trait or an item to say, yes, this is objectively better for my build or play style than this. And sometimes, especially in an unbalanced game like it is right now, a lot of them are just not gonna do good. Like maybe power is just better than crit, but if you haven't really looked at everything, you wouldn't know that. So it's a quick and easy way to get a good build and get playing fairly decently without having a lot of effort put into it, which I think is pretty awesome. You can leave like the building stuff to other people in the theory and math crafting.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I mean, it's understandable for the beta weekend because we have a pretty limited time to play. I think we actually have less than 60 hours to play. Not really sure of the amount of time we have to actually play. But I think that the best thing is to get inspired by other people the same way as programming. You get inspired by other people's builds or code, and then you implement it into your own, studying every move you do.
Yeah, it's also great because a lot of people can't play 40 plus hours like I can in one weekend because they have like jobs or responsibilities.
Exactly.
And Um, Also, yeah, I do love the fact that people can get inspired by looking at a build like, oh, I never actually thought of taking that trait. That's a great idea. Or that trait's just silly because this trait's better, and this is why. Yeah. So I think I love the amount of sharing that happens.
Okay, so if I remember correctly, getting completely out of the Guild Wars 2 stuff, you said that you had a goal to reach with League of Legends.
Yes, I will reach at least 2,000 elo in League of Legends by midsummer. I really hope, or at least by the end of season two. Um, I'm currently working on that. Um, I'll definitely be streaming it. I've been working out a lot of the kinks to like really get myself set on carrying because I'm naturally a support player and that's my main role. But you can't really do that to carry yourself up in elo until you get high enough. Um, so right now I'm playing a whole lot of RE. So if you want to see a whole lot of RE, you can just watch my stream, and I'll do it most every day. Me and my friend Master DP are going in the duo queue, and he plays like Ash, so RE and Ash all day every day, unless other variations come up.
Okay, so for our viewers, his Twitch page will be on the description along with his Twitter details and both our team's details on the description. Um, he actually achieved a challenge he had set for himself for the Twitter followers. You actually surpassed the 20 Twitter followers, which was your second goal, I believe.
Yes, a slightly less, I think, magical goal, but every one of my Twitter followers, I'm really happy. Like it's at 23 now, and I'm just like, whoever's 24, I'm like, hey, yay, 24, every single one. It's really awesome.
Okay, guys, so I think this is the end of the interview. Don't remember to follow Quark on Twitter, Team Alpha Collective, and of course us, Team Prometheus, and me. Both our Twitter details you can see on the video feed. And I'd like at this point thank very much Quark for being here and for doing this awesome interview with us. I hope we get the chance to speak again. And for future events of Alpha Collective and the rest of their members, you get notified by us. We're gonna do a new vlog just to notify you about the new events. Thank you very much again for watching, and thank you very much, Quark, for being here.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It was great fun.
So, see you later, folks.
Goodbye, everybody.
Just another one of your plays. Gonna pretend